Here's the story of COVID in America. It was terrible for a long time. Then it was getting better for a while, with vaccination curbing the virus in many, many parts of the nation. And now the story is it's getting worse. Daily cases tripling to 41,000 now. And there are many factors at play, but experts and the Biden administration are sounding the alarm about how media misinformation from Facebook to Fox News is part of what's driving this. The U.S. Surgeon General going as far to blame misinformation for contributing to the death rate, to the lives lost, others hitting Fox News even harder. Experts arguing that politicizing vaccines and discouraging their use undermines this key safety method that we have at the very time when the nation is in a position to put COVID on its back for good. Now, amidst this pressure and this ongoing debate, some at Fox News are changing gears. They have a new formal PSA on vaccines that aired last night. Sean Hannity now backing vaccines. But it's not a uniform approach over there. Because even amidst that edit, the Fox News anchor with the largest audience, Tucker Carlson, continues to play very dangerous games. He has seized on COVID as what looks like to him another culture war ploy. He claims that people should call Child Protective Services on any parents whose children wear masks. And now he's trying to project current media criticism of Fox, some of what I just told you about, back onto others. And he's implying that accurate information about public health advice is somehow the news taking a forbidden ideological position. This is just from his latest broadcast.
As a channel, CNN shouldn't have a position on whether you should take medicine or not because it's a news channel. It's not a health agency. Why is a news channel doing this? Any news channel, a lot of them are.
That might sound like a real argument if you're not listening closely. And we get it. People sometimes have the TV on while they're doing other things, making dinner. But this matters, and what Tucker's saying there is actually completely vapid. Seatbelts save lives. If studies show that, news channels report it. If safety experts and doctors strongly urge people to use seatbelts, the news reports that. And if government guidelines or even laws require seatbelts, ever heard about those laws? Well, the news reports that too. It's pretty simple. And it's not taking some grand position. Indeed, on this very program, you've heard me repeat that people do have a right to decide their own health care. Last night, I asked Dr. Fauci if blanket vaccine mandates for work or school might be an overreach, because we're discussing policy, not telling you how to live. But on the facts, we can also tell you seatbelts save lives. So do these vaccines. And Tucker Carlson's not consistent either. He's also joined the chorus of attacks on facts and experts and doctors.
And what about the efficacy of the vaccine itself among adults?
Why does it matter how many COVID cases we have in this country?
There are a lot of those people giving you medical advice on television, and you should ignore them. Obviously, we're not doctors.
So there's whiplash between Hannity embracing vaccines and other hosts carrying on. This matters. It impacts the views of millions. President Biden even discussing that changeover at Fox in new remarks.
One of those other networks is not a big fan of mine. One you talk about a lot. But if you notice, as they say in the southern part of my state, they've had an altar call, some of those guys. All of a sudden, they're out there saying, let's get vaccinated. Let's get vaccinated. The very people before this were saying, I shouldn't make fun of it. That's good. It's good. It's good.
That's good. That's good. That's what it sounds like when a president's not settling a score or taking cheap shots at media critics, but rather a president thinking about how what happens on Fox impacts the lives of his constituents, of all Americans. You could call it presidenting. And while misleading and controversial statements do get more attention on TV and online, there are others in conservative media, and I want to mention this as part of our report tonight, who are speaking out on vaccines. You should know what they're saying, too. Take one of the most influential conservatives in America, a guy named Chris Ruddy. He runs Newsmax, the Trump-friendly outlet that's to the right of Fox. You may remember his name as well from the Mueller probe as a high-level Trump confidant. He has a brand new piece, and here's the title: Biden's good job on the vaccine, where he tells fellow Trump fans, I myself have gotten the Pfizer vaccine, and notes that vaccines save countless lives and more could be saved if it were available earlier. In fact, given how reflexively skeptical conservative audience have been encouraged to be by Ruddy's friend Trump, among others, the Newsmax leader goes on to make sure people understand that he has not, he says, heard from the Biden White House about this coverage, and instead he just wants to credit Biden for the fact that he's doing a good job on this front. As for the impact on real people, well, some journalists are cataloging the price here. Part of Tucker Carlson's crusade and his rhetorical word games is to try to scare people into feeling like there's some sort of sinister government project to push these vaccines. There must be something wrong if they're being pushed hard. So he warned his viewers the entire agenda is, quote, designed to make you comply. That's the framing. And for him, that might be an exciting way to try to vacuum up some level of interest there is out there in that. But this is real. These are real lives. This is not a drill. And we're so far into this, so deep into this. It is unfortunate that I have to say that and remind people of that for those who need the reminding. But this is about real people. Here is CBS's Scott Rowe talking to a COVID patient in Louisiana about this individual's rationale for avoiding the vaccine.
Here I am recovering, getting out of here finally tomorrow. Am I going to get a vaccine? No.
Why not?
Because there's too many issues with these vaccines.
Before you got sick, if you would have had a chance to get the vaccine and prevent this, would you have taken the vaccine?
Nope.
So you'd have gone through this?
I'd gone through this, yes, sir. Don't shove it down my throat. That's what's local, state, federal administration is trying to do, to shove it down your throat.
What are they shoving, the science?
No, they're shoving the fact that that's their agenda. The agenda is to get you vaccinated.
The agenda is to get you vaccinated. So a choice about science or personal health has been morphed rhetorically, largely, I think, through the media, into some kind of test for resisting some political phantom government agenda you've been warned about, which is a ways away from whether the vaccine will protect you and your family, like a seatbelt, which is still, of course, your right to decide. Now, things were getting better. But where are they headed amidst all this? And what is the role of Fox and other media?